Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to go ahead with the final of our Vox Pop speakers. These 10-minute slots that are available to members of the public, where they get an opportunity to share stories, promote causes, and tell us a little bit more about themselves. So please welcome our next speaker, Djamal Marcel Adib.
We are quick to look down on ancient cultures, assuming that somehow they were primitive and that we would be more advanced. However, when you grow up in the West, at some point you realize that despite, or maybe as a result of all the technological progress we went through, we also lost a lot along the way. Namely, we lost a lot of spiritual and also shamanic knowledge. And you realize that ignorance can be humankind's most consequential limitation. And when you look at the Toltecs or the Olmecs, those ancient cultures, they didn't have the computers and tools and devices we have today, but they had much more knowledge about what's within each of us, how to work with things such as intuition, synchronicities, how to go beyond the material world around us. That's why today I would like to use this opportunity to talk about one of the most intriguing, most fascinating, most mind-boggling accounts we have of a Westerner not only getting in touch with that deep spiritual knowledge, but also documenting it in detail and preserving a number of methods which you can apply today, this without any substances. Namely, I would like to talk about Carlos Castaneda. So this is going to be the crazy talk today, I guess. So who was Castaneda? He was an anthropologist in the 60s who, during his master thesis at the University of California, decided to do an apprenticeship with an indigenous Yaqui shaman by the name of Don Juan de Matos. And within 12 books, Castaneda would document how he was able to expand his consciousness and really widen his perception. And his first book, Journey to Ixtlan, became an international bestseller in the 70s and led to a popularization of Toltec wisdom around the globe. And some people even thought these books are so far out there, they must be made up, or they may be science fiction. But today even, despite the fact that our societies have really lost focus of this work, you can even see the impact on our modern pop culture. For example, film director George Lucas said that he was highly inspired for his Star Wars franchise, especially regarding the Jedi Knights, by Castaneda's book. Or the popular Netflix series, The OA, has Castaneda written all over it. And even if you watch the new Avatar movie, you will see that the indigenous culture there connects to animals and the environment with this braid at the back of the hand, which resembles the so-called assemblage point that explained in Castaneda's book. So, thankfully, you do not need to go to Mexico and you do not need to spend some time with a shaman in order to apply these methods. Castaneda left us with 5 distinct techniques. First and foremost, various dreaming techniques, which go far beyond lucid dreaming. Secondly, so-called tense equity, which resembles Tai Chi-like movements. Thirdly, so-called darkroom practice, which entails like a specific type of meditation in complete silence and darkness. Fourthly, stalking, which entails finding your patterns of behavior which come out of weakness and getting rid of those. And then last but not least, recapitulation, an active meditation method I would like to talk a bit about today. So recapitulation is a very powerful technique. What you do, for example, is you make a list of the 10 most impactful situations of your entire life, or a list of the 10 most influential people in your life. And then what you do is you go through these memories twice. Once with you being in the scene, and then a second time without you being in those scenes. And you can also move your head from left to right and breathe in and out accordingly. Please understand, so you're not analyzing those scenes, you're just reliving them. And the second time, you release them, you let go. So allow me to give you an example. Let's say, as a child, you fell off a bicycle, a red bicycle, and you hurt yourself badly. Now, when you walk around and you see a red bicycle today, without realizing it, your subconscious gets already triggered by that particular appearance. So by recapitulating those experiences over weeks and months, you are decreasing this psychological bias you developed, this trigger you had beforehand. And as a result, you can increase your mental strength and your focus. And for example, me, I'm a financial trader. This has helped me to improve my trading psychology a lot, for example. But here's the thing with the methods. In order to really understand them, you need to apply them. So what will happen as a result? Well, it will also help you to manage this constant chatter every one of us has in our minds. You know, this melodrama your ego always tries to remind you of. For example, you may think right now, oh, you know, I need to decide what to make for dinner. Or you may think, oh, I need a coffee. Or you may think, when does this weird guy stop talking? You know, so like, you know, it's always in the way, this constant chatter in our mind. And it's in the way of higher consciousness. And we need to learn to get back to silence. And those methods help us to do that. And of course, we live in a very noisy world. Like every one of us gets bombarded with information, with news, with messages. And large corporations try to target even our attention. But we can only increase our level of consciousness by finding our way to this kind of silent knowledge, as Castaneda called it. And of course, those techniques can also lead to lucid experiences. But first and foremost, also, they lead to a whole set of benefits. A higher level of mental focus, of concentration. You will even be more open-minded. You will be able to better connect to other people, with your environment. And also, they go far beyond any belief system or any dogma. For example, I'm sure that right now, as we hear, somewhere in Tibet, there may be a master who applies similar techniques. The thing is, when it comes to written account of those techniques, we have those books by Castaneda from the South American sphere. And also allow me to say, so for everyone here in this room, we already had different states of consciousness. Everybody here had a dream which felt really realistic, or where you felt there was some kind of message somebody tries to communicate to you. And we all have intuition. We all have this little inner voice which goes beyond our rational thinking mind. And the more we learn to channel into this part of our lives, the more we will be able to dance the dance of life rather than fighting it. And of course, allow me to be clear, exploring your own consciousness is not a pony farm. In fact, you will be confronted with your own shadow sides, with your fears, with traumas. Even Castaneda himself had to take a multi-year break of his apprenticeship because he got a little far out there, let's say. But still, working through this part of our existence allows us to really be a new version of ourselves, to, you know, better connect with our environment. And I think as a collective right now, we are on the other side of the spectrum. Most of us are completely busy being in this material world and just scratching the surface of life rather than going any deeper. And I believe right now this is particularly relevant because this world is changing, and it's changing fast. Algorithmization, robotization, artificial intelligence, soon we will be put in a position where we need to ask ourselves this one question. What actually makes us distinctively human? Is it our mind? Is it our body? Is it our emotions? I personally believe the one thing which makes us really distinctively human is our consciousness. And right now, we are not in a position where we can even replicate consciousness in any way with all its aspects. Either way, to conclude, so Castaneda died in 98. So now the onus is on us. The ball is on your side. So what will you do? Will you just say, oh yeah, that was interesting? Or will you maybe read the books and also try the techniques? So please be so kind to look into this fascinating world Castaneda has opened up for us. Thank you.